Welcome to the Pump Rules Podcast, the show where cast and connoisseurs come to talk all things Vanderpump Rules.
Welcome to the Pump Rules Podcast. For the first time on a podcast, I believe, Lauren Dawson, who you know from Ether and Opal.
Right. It's a second time on a podcast, but I do them very sparingly because they make me extremely uncomfortable.
You know, I thought first time because of exposure therapy, which is what we're doing today in honor of Scheana.
Correct.
Right.
I've done it once before, and listening to it back, I wanted to toss myself off the nearest bridge. So I've tried the exposure therapy, and it wasn't.
No, see,
great.
The thing with exposure therapy is you have to keep exposing yourself. That's the problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're continuing the good work, the Lord's work that you have done already and that you continue to do with your fabulous videos.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Now, what was the origin of that? I mean, we have so much to get into with this episode, but I really want to get a little primer on the inspiration. Or rather, the actualization, rather, of the inspiration, because as we'll get into, there was a vlog idea, but please enlighten us.
Yeah, I don't know. With like the Barbie movie coming out, it just kind of seemed like something that it felt organically right to do. I know Heather McDonald used to do the Bravo Barbie reenactments. High praise to her.
Mm-hmm.
She was great at it, but she stopped, and I don't know. I just felt like there was a need for it. I loved like the Most Popular Girls in School on YouTube. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but it was like doll theater back in the day. And I don't know. It's fun. People love toys. It's like the nostalgia of it all. And it's fun to do. It brings me joy. It brings other people joy. So.
That's what it's all about, and you've captured the imagination of so many people. They're really great, and also it really encapsulates the humor that is present in the most ardent of fans. Because even our favorites, or even in the most dire situation on the show, there's a lot of humor, and certainly on this episode. What did you think of this episode?
Oh my God. It was rough. It's hard for me to like watch anything. Sandoval just not taking any kind of accountability and sniveling, and it's rough. I have a hard time with him, so
sure.
I took notes.
Oh, good. I did too, and I think we have just about as fulsome of notes, and I'm very proud of us. It was hard not to. I would be pausing it. I was like, I can't watch this twice. I got to get this out now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
I
good.
watched it twice, but
yeah. Well, I did some parts because I had a couple times I had to go, I need this verbatim because this is such a ridiculous thing. I can't believe I'm hearing it. Now, you know how they said to Schwartz later on, and I'm sure you know, like it's going to jump all around. It's not linear because our heads are swimming with this. Later on, Ariana says, I hope one day you'll see it. No, Lala says it. Forgive me. I'm sweating with from the show.
Right.
So it's weird because I did at one point with him. So it's weird to see, someone that you were like, ew, oh my God, and then see it play out on TV. It's kind of affirming, but it's still bizarre.
Oh, because you were like friends with them, right?
Well, I'm friends with all of them. Or
you had like somewhat of a relationship with them.
No, I'm friends with all of them except for Sandoval.
Okay.
Friends like, some I see more often than others. Some of them used to live in the building. So, I'm on good terms with everyone except for Sandoval.
Yeah.
So, who I used to hang out with quite frequently. But, there was a falling out and you stand up for yourself. He doesn't want to be around you. You don't want to be around him.
Understandable. I mean, he's pretty corny. I wouldn't want to be around him either.
Yeah, but the corniness seemed fun because he embraced it. But so do you have anyone in your life that you were like hard stop? Does he remind you of somebody?
Not really. Honestly, no. He's no, I don't. I guess I just don't surround myself with people like that.
Oh, you're trying to shade me now.
I think Schwartz is like super lovable. I love Schwartz. I'm a Schwartz apologizer, but Sandoval, no. I like the band. Like, I guess I can say, yeah, I've known some guys like in the scene that were like that, but he's just like I don't know. He's like a whole nother level of ick.
Well, but besides the ick, someone that you were like, you thought was one way, and then you went, oh my God, just in your personal life. And then you try to think,
Oh yeah.
were they always like that and I didn't see it? Or did they have some kind of brain injury?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I can see that.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I think all of us have that stuff. I mean, life has those little ups and downs, but that's the strangest part to me. You're like, I don't know what happened. But some people are very good at masking. So
I feel like I always thought that Sandoval was cheesy. And like you said, okay, he's a friend, so it was fun. And I can see like as a friend that being like a fun person to be around, but like as a person, as a significant other, like it makes me question like Ariana's choices a little bit.
well,
Not people who want to be friends with him, because he does seem like he would be a fun friend, but
yeah, and it's strange to see because rarely in life do we get to see like the continuation of someone's life after you have exited it voluntarily or otherwise. So you can see certain things that are so bizarre because the sort of the charm offensive. I mean, he's got some slim pickings right now, but
yeah.
I think back, I go, well, gee, he was very, let's say, generous or magnanimous or whatever. But then, like you said, it's motive questioning. You start re-examining things. So anyway, it's very interesting to see again the continuation of someone's life. But we continue at the beginning of the episode with the second half of the birthday party. Your thoughts?
Um, I wrote, I don't know how Sandoval thinks what James did was way worse because they were broken up. It was 10 years ago. James was what, like 20 something, like 10 years. Kristen's junior. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's so much built in their relationship now. Like, he did look at him like a brother. So I was like, just apologize. It's his lack of remorse and
Mm-hmm.
accountability and defensiveness that I don't know. That's the one thing. Like I've talked with Kyle Chan myself about
Mm-hmm.
like why people cannot forgive this man, and I just feel like to this day he still is so defensive. Like the Nick File
That
podcast,
was
like
unreal. That was unreal. I really expected that on that forum he would, especially because he's on with Schwartz, right? You'd think that there would be some kind
yeah.
of, even if he was going by optics, you'd think that he would conform a little bit, but he just can't help himself.
Yeah. No, not at all. And it feels like Schwartz has grown. Like he
Mm.
feels like he's so much more well-rounded and he's trying to speak for him, but it's just it's such a bad look. Even on the episode, like I'm gonna jump, but when
Oh yeah.
Scheana decides like I will talk to you, and then he's like, I just want you to know I had to talk Raquel off the ledge for what you said about Nima. Like and she handled that so well. She's like, she said that. Like,
She handled it great, and Sandoval. Some for some reason I keep slurring the name. I think it's because of a slur upon his character, which he's done himself. That whole scene was amazing for a number of reasons. He brings her a vodka soda. She tells him, "I'm 3 weeks sober," and he goes, "Yeah, I had a feeling you were sober tonight." Like what? I don't even know what's going on in your brain, Tom. And but besides the other stuff, now you're going into bizarro land. So when he gets all hot and bothered about Nima, and I think I heard the episode that of the shenanigans, but they played the clip, and then you think about it more, and you go, yeah, right, right. That's just the backup to the story that he's claiming Scheana made up. So why wouldn't you bring on the person that told you that in the first place? And in the after show, she reminds us that he offered. She wasn't begging him to come on.
100%. Yeah.
And
No, I,
as a
I
good,
wrote the
oh, go
same
ahead.
thing. And no, no, you. Please continue.
Well,
Continue.
also, like Nima, out of the two of them, appears to be the actual friend because she's getting all this heat, social media, just terrorism, and which I still don't understand why. Like anyone was like, yeah, no, we're on her side, meaning Rocky, which is my pet name for her.
Yeah.
So Nima was like, wait a second, I'm going to go back into the fray because I can't abide. Oh, and
Yeah. No, I remember what I wanted to. Oh, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No, you go ahead. There's a
Sorry,
weird
I'm
lag
so
sometimes.
bad. No, this.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're
Okay.
not. You're doing great. Your
Okay.
exposure therapy. I'm proud of you, and you're doing great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. No, when he was saying how fucked up it was for Nima to talk about Raquel like that on the podcast, and it was so explicit the way he said that she was in a bed. But I'm like, dude, you literally recorded this girl without her consent. Like,
Yeah.
that's not disturbing. That's not explicitly disgusting. Like,
He's very demure and very Puritan. If nothing else, we know this about Tom Sandoval. Do you know what I mean? He's very blue blood type, very Connecticut, I'll say.
yeah.
That's a St. Louis boy in him. He's a very, very, very,
Yes.
yeah. He blanches easily. Yeah. Also, with Rocky out of the picture, he can say whatever he wants about what Rocky's reaction to it was, as Scheana pointed out. Wait a second. If she's really in a mental health facility, which is still up for conjecture, we don't really know what that was. Do you have any insight on the Arizona mystery?
Not at all. Not at all. I would love to go there. It looked nice. I would love to take a 90-day break. Like, everyone could use a little mental break, you know?
Yeah.
But
and in the nice dry heat, you know.
unfortunately.
I know. It is confusing what that place is. And then the whole postcards, all that stuff. But she either heard it in there or maybe didn't. And I'm starting to think that Scheana is 100% right. Oh, she is most of the time, but with Tom, all the time, rather. But this in particular, she's not there. If he's a narcissist, that's what people do. They triangulate, they make up stories. And Rocky's never coming back to the show because she doesn't have the fucking nerve to face any of these people. And she's now posing, right? She's now posing as a mental health advocate.
I wish she would come back.
Like one of those special episodes where just, they play the
Like,
dun, dun.
yeah, no. Like, I really feel like at the end of the season, she should be like the surprise, like to be continued cliffhanger that she's coming back for the next season. And like Ariana can be done. Because I don't think Ariana needs it anymore. I don't think she wants to do it anymore. Like, I don't know. I don't know her personally, but I just get that vibe that she's like, I don't want to film with my castmates. I don't want to like be friends with people who are friends with him. And it's like, okay, you guys are friends, but you also are castmates on a show. And I want to see you all in Lake Tahoe, kind of.
Now, I can't remember from that photo that blew up the internet, right? Ariana's not at that gathering, or am I wrong?
No, I don't think she goes. I don't think her or Katie go. I think they stay back to do like something about her things.
I think you're right. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with that, even though I know that they're currently in zoning hell.
Yeah. Yeah, we went out there for Pride, actually. It was my first time ever out to LA because we wanted to see Pump before it closed down and walked by something about her when they still had the little patio and everything. But I was hoping it'd be open.
I know. I was too. One day it will be, and you'll have to come back to town.
Yeah, for sure.
And then do some in-person exposure therapy. It's sort of like a gradual thing. How are you finding it so far?
I actually have. I'm okay. I'm fine. I had a high noon before we started, so I'm okay.
See, it's all about preparation. The notes, the high noon.
Yeah.
You also went to Schwartz'n'Sandy's, I believe, right? And had the good fortune of having a doll handy and?
Yes. Both the dolls, both Toms. I actually have right around here somewhere. But Brett was there, and I was like, yeah, we would love to drop them in the cabinet if possible. And he kind of laughed, and then he came back around 10 minutes later and was like, actually, if you're serious, we will take those. So I was like, please.
That's great. So wait, who was
those. That was fun.
It was Brett?
It was Brett. Yeah, not the Brett that was at Tom's birthday party that James was like, who is this guy? Not him, not Brett Penn.
Yeah.
It was Brett, their like Schwartz'n'Sandy's partner.
Oh, right.
I can't think of his name for some reason. He's so cute. I loved him. He was so sweet when we met him.
That's nice, yeah. And did you eat there? Did you have drinks? Both?
We had a lot of drinks. We ordered the lobster corn dog because I just had to see what that was about, and it was foul. Like we gave it the table next to us really liked theirs, so maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. And they really liked it, so we gave them ours, and they ate that one too. So it just wasn't
Oh,
for us.
I
But the
understand.
drinks were good.
Hmm.
The vibe was fun. I actually, we had like probably the best time there of all the places we went because like Schwartz was there and he was just like an exemplary host to us. He was super sweet. So we had a blast. And the people there were super fun. But Tom Tom is my second favorite.
The food there is pretty good. Did you enjoy a meal there?
I did, yeah. We did Tom Tom a couple of times because I liked that one. I like the little crispy chicken sliders. Vanderpump Paris in Vegas is actually my favorite of like the food because
Hmm.
they have like the little goat cheese croquettes. They're like a
Uh-huh.
flatter version of the goat cheese ball. We saw
Interesting.
Oliver there.
Oh, wow. It was it was like
I
Disneyland.
almost, very much so, yeah.
That's great. So, of course, you hit Sir and yeah, and what was your experience at Pump? Because I happened to be there when it was a very strange coincidence. The day that Lisa was given the big speech, and the music could not have been louder. And a bunch of my friends, I don't know if you've experienced this too, a bunch of my friends who were always like, "Yeah, I don't know why you watch that show," got obsessed with it after the scandal. And I was like, "Yeah, what did you think I was telling you? The fuck, you think I was telling you that for my health?"
Yeah,
So they all wanted to go to Pump, and they're like, "It's going to close," and I'm like, "Okay, let's go." And it was like the worst circumstance. The music was it was deafening, and they were all like,
yeah,
"You told us it was good." I'm like, "Oh, come on now, come on." But then Lisa spoke, and they turned the music off for
yeah.
10 minutes, which was nice.
That is nice. No, we missed Lisa, but I did see Ken and I like leapt in front of him and I was like, "Oh my God, Ken, I love you so much." And he looked like he didn't know where he was. He was just like startled and he said, "Howdy."
Oh, I love that Cowboy Ken.
I was,
See, that's why he can't keep pounding the
Howdy.
pavement in West Hollywood
I
or
know.
shuffling along
He's
very
80 years
slowly.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like in this episode, Lisa seems to be like perplexed at her reaction to an empty restaurant. Haven't they had like 80 bars and restaurants? Is this the first time that she's feeling this way?
Oh my God. Wait. When they were in the closed down pump, those rusty like word art signs that said like wine makes my clothes fall off in like curls MT font. I've like never been so offended by a font choice.
And I don't think I've ever
Oh
noticed
God.
those in the place after being there, but mostly I sat outside. You just sort of when you went inside, it was a little like claustrophobic, and you just sort of wait for the bathroom.
Yeah.
The bathrooms aren't bad; they're gigantic, so you could have a nice party in there if you wanted to. But I'm interested to see what the new pump is like.
So they're like splitting Tom Tom, right?
Hmm.
Like the garden at Tom Tom and turning that into pump. Yeah. That's my favorite side of Tom Tom, the garden side.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah,
it has a tree in there. Is that an olive tree?
I haven't been in a while, so I think so. Maybe
Okay.
I imagine when they were
What is
stocking up.
she doing with the olive trees?
That's a good question. But there was some conjecture about whether or not that area was part of the rent or something. And I don't know. The landlord also said that the rent wasn't going up. I mean, I don't know. Not like Lisa ever has a cover up for something. But I think
Yeah.
also it's a good use of that half of TomTom because I wonder after they expanded if it was worth it.
Yeah. I mean, like, do you really need that many restaurants in such a tiny little row?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be good if they just kept going, just like all the way down the boulevard?
The whole boulevard, yeah.
Yeah. So at the birthday party, to me, it was so galling because it continued to get worse. A lot of times when they'll to be continued. Which first off, my reaction was like, yeah, no shit. What do you think we think? But uh, usually it's like kind of like, oh, it's just the rest of the stuff they filmed. It's not going to get worse. Oh, it gets worse. It gets much worse. Billie Lee, so thrilled not just to be on TV again, but she has to jam in. You remember, like, she was calling you all the time, like when we were at the comedy shows. She's a comedian. Yeah. So I didn't know Tom was going to all those comedy shows, but hey, she sure is funny.
Billie Lee, yeah. Kyle Chan invited me to like the Gold Bar Whiskey Party. That was the finale event. And Billie, like, I remember we were trying to just like say hi to Sandoval, like just get a feel for who this man was. And there was that weird thing where like someone threw a drink and then he's like runs up with the chair and everything. But Billie, I mean, just from seeing her in person, I just got like the thirstiest vibe. Like eyes literally bugging out of her head, like looking for a camera and like what was going on so she could go spin a little web over there. Yeah.
Did you ever see The Thing? That just reminded me of The Thing, when the thing skitters across the...
Yeah, her and Joe, honestly, and no disrespect to Joe, because I know that's Tom's girl and I don't want to offend anyone, but
you are a
she
Schwartz
also
apologist, as
just gave me
you've stated.
And I don't want him to block me. He's called me his friend, and I just hold on to that dearly. So, but she just gave me very weird vibe. Like the both of them just gave me the weirdest vibes.
Girl Joe, which is, by the way, my favorite nickname of all time, Girl Joe. And that's because there's Lawyer Joe, who's a male. And Girl Joe is the best nickname, not the best. But she's always been like super, super friendly. I've seen her around like 4 or 5 times at Kristen's place or something.
Yeah.
In the old days. And I can't get a read on her. You know what I mean? Because it's just friendly. And
maybe she was overwhelmed.
That could be because she's seemingly very excitable. Because when I saw her last, it was at Schwartz'n'Sandy's, and it was like just like kind of like a mellow, Jackson Schwartz and some other folks. And she's a good hugger. She's a very intent hugger. But Billie, I remember at I don't know, one of the events like years ago, let's say a birthday party or something at one of those candy stores or whatever, watching her just like beeline over to Lisa. And this is after cameras were down for the day. I was just like, whoa. Again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I've been, I'm cordial with her when I see her, but because I'm like, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't abide. But back to what you were saying about Schwartz. I love Schwartz, and I can't stand some of the stuff he says on this. Like, I'm so like radically disappointed in him, especially when he's talking about Ariana and her ego a lot. Not a lot, sorry, but also mainly because of not mainly. It's so vexing. Forgive me. It's really disturbing to see him say the same kind of thing to Ariana as he would to Katie. Because it's sort of just like, you're a woman.
And Lala. You remember last season he screamed at Lala, like, I am 10 times the person you will ever be. Like, he really does have a little bit of a dark side to him. But
he does.
He's like a golden retriever to me, so.
No, he's the loveliest, We may go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles next month. Look out, by the way, everyone, for a movie club. God. Yeah, I did a movie club with him for my other show, Craig and Friends, about... Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we could barely crack the ice on it. He's so into it. So we're going to do a second volume. So look for that soon, folks. I'll do it on this feed too.
I love it.
He brought toys with him. He brought multiple toys with him.
Oh, I love that. Matt has a bunch of Ninja Turtle toys. Like, yeah. Schwartz has an open invitation to throuple up with me and my husband whenever he wants to. I know he said he like really wants a family, and we already have 2 kids, so whenever he wants to come on in. We think he's asexual, so it doesn't have to be like threesomes or anything.
You wouldn't want anything explicit, right?
No, not at all.
So to wrap up the birthday party, is there anything else that jumped out at you? I mean, because the whole thing was just kind of shocking smear of
it seemed
gross
like an
Vaseline.
office party. That's what I wrote down.
And last episode
and
too,
everyone's going sober. I thought that was very interesting.
I think it's interesting as well. Also, what Lala says about or said at that mini toy shop where the shop keep was
Yes,
like not
miniature kink.
impressed.
I was like, that's me. Yeah, she said she has a mini kink. I
You-
like mini brands. I reached out to mini brands and I was like, "Hey, do you want to partner with me? Like I make these fun videos." And I didn't get any response. But I
hey,
love mini brands. Me and my little one loves them too. And any doubles I have, like he stakes claim on them. So,
that's it. How old are your kids?
7 and 2.
Ah,
Owen
okay.
and Liam, 2 little boys.
Well, shout out to Owen and Liam, who I know listen to all the podcasts. Right? They point you towards the
Yes.
ones to listen to. Oh, I can't believe I forgot this. I'm really happy we're taping today. We were going to tape last night, but we're taping today, and you know why I'm happy? Because it's my fucking birthday, Lauren.
And what you say goes.
Now, yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. Yes, so it is my birthday. Happy Valentine's Day, delayed to anyone who's listening.
Happy
On the
birthday,
Thank you very much. Before we get back to the birthday party, when's your birthday?
Aquarius.
Yes, indeed. It is the age of Aquarius. By the way, that's I heard the rumor.
Aquarius, it's like they're supposed to be very good at communication, so
Well,
makes sense.
thank you very much.
I'm October 14th,
Oh,
2 days before Tom Schwartz.
And
We're Libras.
right in between my partner and my son. My son is born on Halloween, and my partner's on. Well, not in between.
Okay.
Sorry, my partner's October 19th, but it's the same field of
Oh,
energy.
nice. Matt's October 11th. We're actually 3 days apart, so
That's great.
yin and yang. Yeah.
It's a good time. Unlike the birthday party that we saw, paid friends. Paid friends. There's no way. There's no two ways.
Okay, when you have 12 friends over, do you need to have a house party or could you have just gone to medieval times?
M-
Like,
uh,
why did you have to kick Ariana out for that? Like,
It seems like that was the point.
yeah, okay.
I did love that we finally saw footage of Katie scooting on up the stairs to avoid interaction with Sandoval.
Stealth ninja. Like, I was like, they have zero survival skills. Somebody just walked right behind them and neither of them had any idea.
No clue. No clue. And if
I
Anne
loved
knew, she
that.
wasn't letting on.
Katie, I love Katie this season. Like single coming into her own Katie, she's so hot. Like she
Yeah.
has this energy about her. Like her at emo night, she was the only girl that I was like, "Oh my God, like that this is her energy. I feel like she should do that literally every week."
Mm-hmm.
I felt like Ariana and Scheana looked like they went to Spirit Halloween and bought like emo kid costumes. It was bad.
Yeah, Katie's really coming into her
Did
own.
you
I love
listen
to
to the
see it.
Did you listen to the after show?
Oh yeah. I loved it. What are your
And like
thoughts?
her talking about Scheana wanting to like get Avril into their little
Yes.
playlist.
Yeah.
That
Look,
hurt me deeply.
I'm not even that big into emo. I mean, I'm not quite on the scale from Lala to Katie. I'm probably in the middle. Like I'm aware of the bands. But Avril.
Okay.
I immediately knew. I was like, nope. Uh-uh.
Yeah. But you know like Paramore, right?
Oh yeah. Like every
So
time
I
I
mean like
ask,
at least
yeah, yeah. Anytime I ask like Jamie
or
Lynn, who's
Bikini Kill,
oh
like
yeah,
if you
of
want to
course,
have like a girl like front like but Avril, I was like, what?
yeah, I
And she's a
know.
musician, so I just expect her to have more of a frame of reference. But
Ah, well, she did reach out to the 27s and then brought the 27s into Katie's life, and Katie and Kevin clicked because they talked about tequila.
I love that.
It's so
I
good.
miss Tequila Katie.
Me too. Shout out to Tequila Katie. Come back and visit sometime. I do like that she orders tequila pretty much in every episode that they get drinks at. But again,
Oh yeah, Reposado.
mm-hmm,
Very fancy about it.
I don't think I cottoned on to the fact that Scheana was sober earlier. I was aware that she was taking medication for uh, depression and OCD, and I want to applaud her on every episode for that because that's really great that she's dealing with her OCD, and that explains a lot of her interpersonal, if not weirdness, let's say I can't think of the right word, but how people would call her wishy-washy. People would say you don't know what side she's on. Relational OCD or relationship OCD is a motherfucker, because she talked about realizing when Schwartz showed up that she doesn't like the feeling of like, but what if he's upset? And then what if I don't invite him? Because the end result is upsetting her friend.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think she, no, I totally agree. I think Sheena's a great mom. I do. I totally feel her on the postpartum struggles. Like, I went through severe postpartum anxiety myself. Like, I went on Zoloft. Like, I'm a Zoloft girly too. I fully get it. But I don't know. Sheena just like, she's bumming me out a little bit. Like,
Really?
I feel like she should have never agreed to cut off Sandoval 100% because they were both her friend. And like, I don't know. Because watching her backpedal or knowing that she's going to eventually backpedal, I feel like it's just harder. But I don't know. I can't. Who am I to judge? How do I know how I would respond?
Yes, who are any of us? But yeah, we will. I'm very interested to see how that progresses, because the trust issues that she has and everything, and also the fact that she was lied to for so long by Sandoval. I mean, we know that Schwartz is tied to him financially,
And Raquel, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, big betrayal, and that also the thing where Rocky wanted to have sex in her bed, which I believe that, because Rocky seems to have a kink for cucking whatever woman seems to be supportive in her life.
See, I think it's like a mommy daddy kind of thing because she's like adopted. She's very much seeking that like mommy daddy. Like, she wanted to throuple up with Ariana and Tom. I think like she looks at like Scheana and Brock as like mom and dad in a way.
That's an
She's
interesting,
very
yeah.
infantile.
Now, what do you make of Rocky devastating Sandoval by severing contact?
I loved it. I loved it. I loved it so much. And him waiting for that birthday text, like, ugh, I loved it.
Yeah, there is a
He
certain.
cringes me out so.
But see, I like that you were like, I'm gonna go say hi, just check the vibe. Like, yeah, I knew it.
No, I'm sure he's like a good-hearted person in some realm, you know. He's just
So,
not like.
well, I was gonna say, well, I'm not too sure about that. I'm no Sandoval apologist for sure.
But
I actually
yeah,
restarted the show. I
no,
restarted the podcast because I was like, yes, I exactly. Incidentally, he witnessed
he's
what he did to Ariana. He witnessed that being done to me by my ex. This is when we're hanging out like the most with the building manager. So it was so super weird. It was actually cathartic to watch Ariana processing everything and dealing with it so nobly, really.
wow, yeah. Ugh, I cannot imagine. And on such like a televised plane, like I would know.
No, I mean I can't either. Like if that was, I mean it was rough enough as it was to be on TV, and I'm so happy that she's on Broadway, because that's what happens when you can actually sing, unlike Tom.
Yeah.
Now back to
No,
emo
he
night.
said something like,
Go ahead.
yeah, he said something about emo night, like, oh, they're just singing words to other people's songs. And I was like, wait, is that a joke? It
I
might have been a
know.
joke. Maybe I don't know his humor.
Yeah, right. Maybe he's being
Because that's
so
what he
dry
does.
that we don't even realize it.
Yeah, I think he might have been. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
possibly.
yeah.
I don't know though. I don't know, because I think to him the differentiation would be that he's actually singing. Who can say? Who can say? He's actually playing the bongo. So, um, back to and with the emo night with Katie with the fire extinguisher, it just made me like I had a vision of her just like Rick Dalton in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like actually setting these people on fire that she talks about with the flamethrower.
Oh my God, I love that. Somebody needs to recreate that in like a comic book form.
Oh, that'd be great, right? And now, yeah, that can be done easily. I think with Chat GPT plus, I just said GPT, with AI, something like that. Can someone get on that, please? Thank you. Now, what next point would you like to go to? Because you have some notes, I have some notes.
Well, I want to talk about Sandoval still wearing the lightning bolt necklace. Like he's not gonna let that go. That's just part of him.
Mm-hmm.
Scheana has a lightning bolt tattoo right here. I never noticed that, but I just picked.
Oh,
And then also when they were in the back alley at Sir,
which,
he's
by the
like,
way,
"Wow,
thank
I
you, back
really like."
alley. So, just shout out to the back alley. Isn't it always just like, the back alley? But please go ahead.
100%. I had to go see it when we went to West Hollywood. I'm like, we gotta get back there. But um, he's like, you look like you rode in on Shania Twain's motorcycle. And she's like, thanks. I was going for a Y2K look. And he's like, this is actually a Y2K sweater too. I was like, what the? Like, you are 41, okay? Like, ew. Am I mean? He skeeves me out so much.
Well, I mean, mean when talking about the show, I mean, there's different degrees of mean. I've said in the past, like the most rancid things about folks, and sometimes folks coming on the podcast say, "Well, I don't want to say something that's really mean," and I said, "Well, that's how I became friends with Katie. We said horrific things about her. She came on and was like, yeah, whatever, And so that it brings
Yeah.
me to the point too of Sandoval, like casting such shade at anyone on a podcast talking about him and his behavior, which was on a public forum that he also gets money from. Because I feel like when people go, yeah, I get it, it's podcasts for money, like as if there's some kind of nobler thing that you should be doing.
Right. Yeah, because he was like, oh, and then them going on and not even getting paid or whatever.
Yeah, that's more disgraceful somehow. I don't quite get that. And also, that's the one hill he wants to die on because he feels so righteous about it that talking about him is wrong. But I mean, he's shared plenty of opinions about Jax, about.
Oh yeah, he said I've never said one word about Lala's breakup. I've never said one word about someone else's, but literally has said that Lala should have known better. She was giving blowies for Range Rovers, whatever. Like he's spoken about everyone's relationship. So
And I think he's trying to, again, make a differentiation between his behavior and anyone else's with like tiny technicalities in that he didn't go to the press. I don't think any of these folks actually went to the press, but they might have said something on their podcast. By the way, he has one now. So I'm not that I listened to it, but, you know.
yeah.
Have you listened?
I no.
Ooh,
No.
something just happened.
Oh, I might
Sorry.
have screamed no so loud
sorry.
that
I didn't hear the last thing
okay.
you said because I have a backup alarm on my
It was a
laptop.
hard no.
Oh, okay.
I think I screamed no so hard that it like sent a shockwave through your computer.
That's actually what happened. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to switch ears now because you just blew out this ear. So thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm glad I invited you. Yeah. Go ahead.
I have one last note that
No.
I just need to get out.
I want to hear all your
Katie
notes.
reminds me. It says Katie reminds me of The Craft. Release yourself from this torture, she said to Schwartz. And it's giving, I bind you, Nancy, from doing harm. Like with her like hair, I just loved it. It really felt The Craft.
Yeah.
Oh wait, also Lisa's confessional makeup. Did you notice the yellow cheeks or no?
No, I didn't. I was looking at
No.
her
Okay.
thinking, oh, she appears more drawn. Like, I mean,
Maybe
like,
it was my TV, but she had like yellow. I don't know if it's the lighting, the makeup, what, but fully yellow cheeks.
I'm gonna have to go back
And I
and look
think
at
that's
that.
the end of my notes. Okay,
Well,
please do.
well, speaking of the confessionals or the testimonials, whatever. Yeah, the confessionals. Sandoval is so awful. They've taken away his cocktail. There's no cocktail there.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
He had one in the first couple episodes, which looks like split pea soup. I don't know what that gooey green stuff is. Maybe it's like, I don't know, The Blood and Dawn of the Dead or something like that. But
Yeah.
Katie's always staying strong with the dirty martini. Her confessional looks have been terrific. I especially like the one that, I don't know, what would you describe it as? The one with the white collar. It's like white collar
Oh yeah,
and,
the Kyle Richards one. Kyle Richards is wearing the same one on Beverly Hills right now.
oh,
It's very
wow.
like the Peter Pan collar, like Wednesday Addams. It's cute. I love it.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for.
I love it.
I was like, tuxedo collar, that's not
Yeah.
right. But she has worn some kind of like formal tuxedo looking thing that's like a dress, but it has a tie. But that's more on social media that I think I've seen that.
Yeah. Can we talk about what Lala was wearing at See You Next Tuesday?
Yes, please
The
remind me.
lace, like it was a lace head to toe. I don't even know what you call that.
I'm not sure. She looked like
Like
she was wearing
cat
a
suit,
sleep
I
sack.
guess.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it was like a cat suit, like a lace cat suit with like undies underneath and then like a corset. But I was just like, okay, how do you go to the bathroom? Like that has to be unzipped. The corset has to be undone. Like, no. It was shocking to my eyes. I've never seen anything like that. I can't imagine that it's comfortable on the skin,
Yeah.
and I would hope that she never wears that.
And what do you think of her after show look? She again looks like appears
I
to be
liked that.
encased. I like it too, but she does appear to be totally encased.
I actually like that. I didn't like the gloves. I felt like the gloves were like an afterthought accessory, and the opaqueness of the sheerness didn't like match the dress, so I didn't like it. But I liked the dress, the necklace, and the shoes.
Yeah, I like the
And I like
whole.
her hair up like that. It's cute.
It's nice, and also the other hair look that she's rocking, like at emo night and everything. I don't know. It's sort of just different. It's
I
nice.
hated that.
Ah!
No, the swooped bang. Like she was like, I looked up emo on Google and I put my bangs this way. I hated it.
So basically, she still doesn't know what emo is, no matter what
She
happens.
doesn't. No, no. And that's okay, you know.
I like that Lisa spoke so much sense earlier when she says, "What I had to write it down because, yeah, Sandoval has to handle everything with utter sensitivity and contrition, 100%." And then later, she burdens Schwartz with more of Sandoval's issues by saying, like, you really have to help him. Like, what? What he you or like help him see or get him on the right path. What else is Schwartz supposed to do? He's got a brother in rehab who might have cirrhosis.
Oh my God, Bert.
Yeah.
That made me so sad. Yeah, I don't know. And honestly, like I debated whether or not I would say this, but I'm going to say it. I just feel like Schwartz using that. I mean, Sandoval saying when he said to Lisa felt manipulative because of what happened with her brother. And like, I am someone who suffers from anxiety and PMDD, and once a month I go through a very low point. And I know when I'm feeling depressed, the last thing I could ever physically be able to do would be to take my shirt off and perform as a frontman in a band. And like I understand people definitely like handle things differently, but he just wasn't to me coming across as somebody who was severely depressed. And I almost hate saying that because I know like mental health issues can look all sorts of different ways, and but I don't know. I felt like when he was saying it, like I saw something behind his eyes that was it felt manipulative. It didn't feel it felt like when I don't know if you're familiar with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but when Jen Shaw said it to Heather and I think it was Meredith or someone, I'm not exactly sure, but she said something very similar. And they were just kind of like, okay, you're just throwing this in because you want us to stop coming at you the way you are. And he said that Lisa was attacking him when really she was just speaking to him in like a very kind tone. And he was the one that was like fucking screaming at her and saying fuck every other word. Sorry. went on a tangent there. You can cut all that out,
No.
actually.
I'm way into that. I think like a full examinations of those moments are fantastic. Pardon me. I did my top coat right before turning this on, and I managed to smear it and then catch a piece of the throw pillow. So we all have our
Oh
struggles. Tom,
no.
with I was wondering that too. And again, it's the conversation stopper, right? Because how can you argue with
Right.
someone or question them about that? But
Yeah.
yet, like you said, he's got the shirt off, and he's making fun of Schwartz for losing his house.
And he has Schwartz and Lisa both saying, like, hey, we're really worried about you. If you ever feel that way, like, please let us know. But he never let them know that. Schwartz said he heard about it from like someone else. So it almost just seems like, I don't want to say that. I really don't, but I am saying it.
I think that's fine. You don't want to say it. You don't want to say it.
Yeah,
That's
I
all. You don't want
don't.
to.
I really don't.
You
Yeah.
don't want to say it. And,
Because he
you.
said, he's like, I would never be that person. And I don't see him as that person. Like,
His reactivity with Lisa, it kind of says it all. Because what did she say that was so bad? Did she even get out the contrition part yet? And he's like, I know. What the fuck? Like, and he avoids eye contact and he springs into that whole bit. The only time I saw him look even remotely contrite was for like a second with Scheana, but then that was in between something crazy and then the podcast. The only time I've ever heard him stop the yeah, but was on the after show. He said, nah, no, but, or something like that.
yeah. Oh my God. Come here.
Oh, to what you said
Sorry.
also about Lisa mentioning the thing about call me. That's a heavy thing. And then so when someone doesn't do that, and then they says the opposite. Yeah, that does call into question. And the thing you were talking about with the eyes, it's almost like when someone says something deliberately provocative to you, and you can see them checking to see if they got that reaction.
1000%. Like I've always said, like I see myself as like a human lie detector. I don't know if it's all the trauma I went through that I'm such an empath that I can literally read people that well, but like I feel like I can read people and I don't feel like he is sincere in a lot of the things he says. I actually was thinking like he reminds me a little bit of like Keith Raniere. Like I feel like he's like studied like neuro-linguistic programming, except he did like a crash YouTube course because he does this thing with his voice where he'll be like, yeah, so I went back to my mom's for Christmas and she got a Fraser fur and she has this little yellow Tweety bird. I rub it on my face. Like this very weird voice change where it's like, feel sorry for me. I'm so like, but it comes off as like he's trying to trick me with his words.
I was thrown also by something like that. Here's the thing I don't want to say. Okay. The Y2K sweater. He said, yeah, found it in Ali's room. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? What? Wait. So even if you did, why are you saying that right now?
Now, right.
It That's the thing I didn't want to say. I really didn't want to say.
He's absolutely weaponizing that. And I feel like using it like it was everyone else's friend too. Like I remember reading that like Ali was got really close with Ariana. So like that's her friend too. So she could say the same thing. Like it was Sheena's friend, like Schwartz's friend, like I don't know.
Well, I mean, Schwartz isn't dropping the fact that his brother's in rehab, that his dad almost died. I think it's like pulled out of him maybe once in the non-confessionals, and I think even then it might only be to Lisa, if memory serves.
Okay. I didn't really know that Schwartz's dad almost died.
Yeah, I think he mentions it in the confessional, maybe first episode, and I could be getting the malady
Okay.
wrong, but he had something major going on. His dad was like really sick.
Okay.
He
Mm.
he has used that, not used that. Forgive me, Schwartz. He has mentioned that in the context, the larger context of the breakdown of his marriage. but he's never been like, well, that's why I was like this. He sort of said, I've been a mess. Like he's even then will say, like, I haven't really been
Oh,
fully
okay.
here, but he mentions those things, but
Yeah.
not in this way, not in the back alley of Sir.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. So we went through the door of the things we didn't want to say, and just like you, I
Yeah.
I have depression issues too. Bipolar. I finally got diagnosed last year, and in retrospect, you can see a lot. I don't know, whatever stage you got diagnosed with your treats. You can then look back and see all these things of when you were in a depressive period. During the pandemic, the depressive periods were like, we're having a party in your brain, because there was nothing to escape from, and there was no ketamine to get. Any good, it could get ketamine anyway. Incidentally, I'm on Lamactil now. No, I haven't used that in a while. Self medication, hell of a drug, literally. But yeah, I lost my train of thought there. But when you're depressed, I just can't imagine doing stuff like that. And again, you can't say about other people, but we're doing that.
Well, it just seems like, and that's what I always like had a hard time with him because he very much like plays this victim role that he, was in this relationship where he was belittled and abused by Ariana because his intelligence level didn't match hers and she made him feel dumb or whatever. And then I feel like he just uses all that to kind of, I actually lost my train of thought.
That's okay. Our two trains of
This
thought,
is
they went off the
Freddie.
rails. Who is that? What's her name?
Isn't he cute? This is Freddie Meowcurie.
Oh, that's beautiful. Hello, Freddie. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for also coming on the
He
show.
just had to have his little moment.
He did.
But
Well,
yeah, no, I just feel like, God.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. We have this weird lag on the internet for some reason.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, it's probably my fault.
No, it's not, because if you were hearing me
Okay.
talk, this is one of the problems with doing online episodes. Sometimes it works, sometimes there's a little lag, and I used to try to edit that stuff out, but now I'm just leaving it in because I mean, good lord, I think everyone's gone
You're
through it with
over
Zoom
it.
calls. Yeah, exactly. It's like you try to, oh well, there was an error. It's what's happening. It's what's for dinner. But what were you going to say? You think he's
I don't remember what I was going to say. I smoke a lot of weed, so sometimes I have thoughts and then they just leave me.
What's your favorite strain? What do you like?
Um, I'm lately I've been into like Blue Dream, which is like a Chicago strain. I love a hybrid, but I'm a sativa girly most of the time.
I've had Blue Dream. I've had Birthday Cake. I don't really fuck with weed that much
Birthday
because
cake is good. Oh, okay.
a birthday, yeah, I could have like one hit, but after smoking at a friend's
Mm.
house and being too enthusiastic, like, yeah, I'll do it. That thing where then the next day people go, I'm never smoking pot again. I've held to that though, because as much ketamine as I could do in the olden days, and people would be like, but that stuff's the devil. I'm like, what are you talking about? Now, of course, it's used as a legitimate
I've
depression
never done
treatment.
that, but I would
Uh,
love to.
listen, it's a good time. But if and when you do it, start small. Whatever it looks like an appropriate amount, cut it in half,
I've
because
heard of K-holes.
yeah, they're not terrific. I actually I K-holed at Sandoval's once. It was Thanksgiving 2019, and he had taken some mushrooms. Surprisingly, I know that's a shock. I hope everyone's sitting down, but for some reason got up on the sink, the long, like table like sink. I don't know why, but that's where he found me, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And they were all worried about me. I'm like, "Sorry, this is," as if I was explaining a technical manual. I was like, "Every once in a while, what happens is you go one step over the line." And you have a K-hole, and then I went I did another bump, and they were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "No, it's okay now. Like I'm out. I'm out." So yeah,
Sounds fun.
yeah, yeah. It was. It was a good time. I'm not saying like never again, but now it's a legitimate depression treatment, and
I know. I love it.
I felt affirmed when
Adriana from Real Housewives of Miami just went through like a ketamine treatment and they like covered her eyes and put headphones on and kind of walk her through it. She was crying. She went through it.
wow.
I would love to try it. Have you seen the Netflix documentary How to Change Your Mind?
No.
It's about like curing your depression with psychedelics and how they're using like I think psychobilin, which is like the mushroom psychoactive
Oh,
to help
psilocybin?
people like psilocybin. Yeah, sorry,
Oh no, it's okay.
psilocybin. Yeah,
I
but
expected you to know every
very
word and every
interesting.
definition.
I would watch that and Fantastic Fungi are both so cool. I
Mm.
love mushrooms.
So you're a mushroom fan already? Okay, that's good. Yeah. Have you tried the
Yeah.
mushroom chocolates?
I do. Yeah, I like the microdose chocolates, the little like one up ones, the Oro ones. I like those. They're fun.
I've been thinking.
I don't know that I would actually like do mushrooms again, like actually trip.
Yeah,
Every time I did it, I had a really bad time. But a microdose is fun.
I love the microdose. I've done that with a chocolate bar. Then I was at a music festival and I thought I was microdosing and took just like a sliver too much and then some really aggressive electronic band. And I love electronic music, but it was aggressive and all minor keys and I was like, "Ooh, uh-oh."
Gateway dose. Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, "Okay, okay, let's take a little
Mhm.
Xanax." It's prescribed, folks, so don't call the police. Or do. Mix up my day. Yeah, mushroom tripping, I can't stand it. I've only had one proper acid trip and I loved it. New Year's Eve 2020. If you're going to do something, do it then. But mushrooms, no thank you.
Yeah.
There's a darkness to me, to the come up as well. Ugh.
Me too, for
Yeah.
sure. I feel like I go to a very dark, dark place every time. But I would
And
love to like do like a hallucinogen like in the desert and like see UFOs. Like that's my dream.
that's a noble dream. And I think one after you go to Vanderpump, Vegas, because it's right on the border of Nevada and California, just go out the high desert, you know, take some
I love
psychedelics and
that.
then just
Yeah,
sort of revel in the experience of Wolf. Have you been to Wolf? Are you looking forward to going to Wolf?
I'm very much looking forward to it. No, I have. Is it open?
I think it is because they did that
Okay.
Journey there a while ago. Incidentally, Billie
Yeah.
Lee talking about healing
Well,
and
it looked like they
Journey.
were doing demolition.
Oh yeah. Oh, I thought you were referring back to the Ariana's birthday that he had to spend in destroying stuff with
Oh my God.
what do you
But
call
they're
them?
going to be bulldozers. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, no, I'm not sure if it's
Yeah.
open, but maybe it is. Folks, write in, let us know. I'm sure someone's like, "Of course it's open." Don't you know? I had to take a break from following the Pump Rules hashtag over the summer because everything was being filmed by fans. Now I love the obsession, but I just thought I don't want the spoilers.
Yeah. I mean, this year especially, just absolutely crazy. Like you were saying, friends who you've been telling about the show for the past decade are now like, oh, I binged it all. I love it.
Yeah,
And it's hard. Like, I don't know that you even get the same feeling if you watch it all now than watching it 10 years ago. Like, 10 years ago, was working in a restaurant myself. So it was very relatable content of like a bunch of people who were all sleeping with each other. So I felt like, oh, we could probably have our own, you know, Bonapit rules or whatever restaurant was at the time. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'm glad to see more people loving it, but I feel like you had to be there from the beginning.
growing up, let's say, with the show, it is different than watching it all in a sequence, particularly when your awareness of it has been tripped by this giant scandal that now not invalidates, but it is a totally different lens through which to view the earlier seasons. And I've considered doing a like a re-review of the old seasons because of having commented on them before to see because I'm however many years down the road as well, and also knowing them and being spooked by Sandoval, like what would I see? What because the way he handled the Kristen thing, when you now know what you know about the way he handled this, you might feel totally differently. Maybe Kristen was gaslit to the point, you know.
I always felt like Kristen was gaslit. Like I hated the way that Tom and Ariana treated her. Like I did not I did not like Ariana in the beginning. Like I thought she was any person that can say like I was born fucking cool, like I have a hard time with. Like I don't know.
I
And like
understand.
I think she's still dying on that hill because she's making merch saying I was born fucking cool. So I don't, it's a
Well,
little cringy to me.
well, when you got a catchphrase that is caught on, although you know who we've seen experience heavy depression on the show, Ariana, not Tom.
Yeah, right, absolutely. And deal with like the loss of her dad. And I mean, I get that. I lost my dad. I'm in the Dead Dad Club too. So, and I see her deal with it, you know. It's, but I don't think she should be on Vanderpump Rules. Like,
Interesting. You think
I
that
feel like
this should be her swan
she's,
song season?
it should, yeah. I think she's outgrown it and she should like go on to like more Lifetime movies or something.
I'm interested to see what the future holds for her because I mean to be on Broadway in the role of Roxy Hart, that ain't no easy feat. That is pretty incredibly impressive, and I'm happy to see that she's fulfilling
Hmm.
all of her lifelong ambitions of singing. Because I remember hearing her sing, and then
Yeah.
hearing Tom sing, and be like, wait, can hold on, and also just being fully in her power because when she talks about crying in the bedroom and all that stuff, I remember being over there and like she's not participating and you feel bad, but when someone's depressed, as we both know, the last thing you want to do is like knock knock knock, hey, how's it going,
Right.
you want to hang out?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, with the
And with just such different personalities, I feel like
mhm.
between him and her. Like I actually have a friend couple that remind me a little bit of Tom and Ariana,
Oh
but the
wow,
roles are reversed. The girl is a little more of the Tom, and the guy is a little more of the Ariana.
it is
But
kind of a
it is strange to see like someone who wants to go out all the time and party and is such like a life of the party type of person, and then someone that just is like low key wants to stay in 24/7 homebody type.
and
Like my husband and I are both pretty like chill and we stay home and we'll go out every once in a while, but we're old. I mean, like we've done that. So,
And I've gone back and forth, but my partner Ada and I, like, well, now we have we have a young son, and we just like hanging out. We like hanging out. We
yeah.
go to some stuff. It's fun to go to some stuff, but it's just some. I've never really been like, let's go party, let's go party. I like events. If a friend is throwing an event, if a friend is it's a birthday
Hmm.
party, then it means more to me, and I always want to be there for that sort of thing. But like going to the Belmont or something, just to use an easy frame of reference, I
Yeah.
I don't I'm not into it, and that could also be
The
because I
Abbey.
don't drink. Oh my God, I cannot. The last time I was at the Abbey, I was with Sandoval. Ah, we didn't kiss though. I just want to make that very clear.
Aw.
I know. Missed opportunities, I guess, right? Uh, um, her Ariana's future going forward, though, I feel like she is a more sociable person than we've seen her be. I don't know exactly. I mean, she always was, and then till she wasn't. I know that sounds kind of strange, but I also feel that thinking
Yeah.
back in the earlier seasons, like if you've ever been in a couple, that there's this sort of binding agent of your enemy then helps me understand more her point of view because the messaging going on from Tom, from my guess, based on what we've seen recently, anyone can get sort of warped into a certain reality when it's us against them.
Yeah. No, I can agree with that for sure.
So, any other
I mean,
thoughts?
I
Oh,
do feel like she was, oh, sorry. No,
no, no, no,
I
no,
feel
no, no,
like
no,
she
no.
was
You're on a good train
manipulated
of
by him.
thought. So anyway, so please go. You were saying you do feel that she was being manipulated.
I do. No, I'm sure that so like I feel like Ariana when she got in her relationship with Sandoval, she was just getting out of a relationship with like a toxic ex. So to have someone swoop in and then be like super nurturing, which we know he like love bombs, he does everything correct. it's very easy to fall into that kind of trap. I don't falter for it. And then it's easy to stay in something that's comfortable as well. And when they're like building a brand or whatever together, but as I don't fault Ariana for that. I don't know. I just don't understand how you can spend all that time with someone, claim that you love them, and then do them so disrespectfully.
It is mind-boggling, and as the recipient of that kind of treatment, the one good thing about it is you realize that whoever stepped into the breach rescued you from.
Right.
My situation was like
Yeah.
13, 14 years, and it should have been a lot shorter, but you don't know any better, really. And there was
Oh my
affection at
God.
some point, or you don't even know what. Again, it's that situation where you go, wait, were they always this way? Or did they just change? And you think, well, I must have had something to do. But, not that. Like, Ariana has nothing to do with the way that Tom treated her. Like, what could she have done that was
Yeah.
so bad that you would deserve that kind of treatment?
Oh, absolutely nothing.
Yeah. But Rocky giving Tom the old ankle is just desserts, I think. And even though they were best friends, Tom's definition of friends, I'm starting to be curious about if he knows what that word means, like like the literal definition, or as he says, like literally, like it's so obvious. I hope he doesn't mind me saying negative things about him in a podcast. You know what I mean? That'd be terrible if he got upset.
No, I know. Literally. I told my husband, like, I want to take that word out of my vocabulary because every time I say it now, I feel like it's like a little Sandoval on my shoulder or something possessing me.
I want to stop saying
He,
like so much, but I don't think anyone could do it as much as Tom. Also, I try to remember it's just part of our language now. We say it all the
yeah.
time.
Um, so there is a clip in the trailer, like the full season trailer, where Tom is doing the demolition at Wolf, and he says, "Scumbags and cheaters," and he smashes the wall. And that was one of the t-shirts that I had designed for my Etsy shop, where instead of Schwartz and Sandy's, it says scumbags and cheaters.
That's right.
And
By the
I
way, let me
had
thank you for
all,
that because I just loved seeing that. That made my heart sing. That and the Sweet Mary Jane cakes. Is it Sweet Mary Jane? Whatever they're. I
yeah,
think that's their
Sweet
name. Yeah.
Lady Jane,
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Lady
much.
Jane. Yeah.
Forgive me.
But no, but so I was just like, oh my God, like I felt bad in that moment because I was like, I did it not to make money. All that money went to charity. Like I asked Ariana what charity she wanted it donated to. We raised like $9,000 for the Alexandria house. I didn't get a down payment for like on a house with the merch that I made. I donated it. But seeing him so angry, I was like, oh my, like it made me feel bad. Like to
Well,
know that I really I sweet lady Janed him a little bit.
now, I am still amazed when we hear that the thing that tipped him over into the serious darkness that he alluded to in the episode was the cake. I just that the best was when Billie Lee was posting about how like karma was served or something to the Sweet Lady Jane people because they closed after like 10 to 15 years in business. And Sandoval wrote, yeah, all their cakes were always dry anyway. I would like to attest for the record. I would like the grand jury to note that the cakes were always wonderful. I just want to make sure that that's known.
The legacy will live on.
Yes,
They were
yes, it will.
moist.
Yes, it will. And so, what you were saying about saying terrible things or saying things that make people upset, I mean, I've said some positively ghoulish things about them, particularly in the first iteration, back when I worked with Lara. And, when I, not, I didn't have to, but when I heard that Stassi was like finally listened to the show after Katie was like, you should listen to the show. It's funny that, Stassi put an episode on. It was the one where I said, well, it's okay that, what did I say? I said, it's okay to call her fat because she's such a bitch to people. And at the moment I said it, I was like, I shouldn't say this. Now, I've had weight problems my whole life, right? So, and I was heavy at the time. Like, what right did I have to say that? But I'm actually thankful that I
Yeah.
had the opportunity to face the music with her because I was at
Hmm.
Amoeba and I get a text or no, a call. Hey, are you home? And I go, no, what's up? It was Katie. She goes, oh, Stassi's here. She'd like to have a word with you. And I was like, fair enough. And I was like, okay, it's time to face the music. And I also felt, and I always
Yeah.
have, if I'm going to say something, then I have to be. Wait, what did Lisa say? Whatever Lisa said to Sandoval, I'm like, but that's what you got to do. Contrition. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Contrite.
Hit
Yeah.
if I hit you in the face, go and hit me in the face. And she was very gracious
Mhm.
about it. And also, I felt bad. And I told her, I said, yeah, I at the time I thought I shouldn't have said that. And we wrapped it up in like a minute or two. And then they were the three of them. I mean, Katie was always she didn't have she knew what the deal was, but then Kristen was livid. And anyway, within like 5 minutes they were like, we should come on the show, because you just face the music. So that's what, like, Sandoval, just like
Yeah.
face the music.
100%. And he can't. That's and I think we all want to get over it. Nobody wants to be mad at this person anymore. Nobody wants to like harbor negativity for this long, but it's like you still have not shown remorse. You still cannot regulate your emotions. Like my 7-year-old has better emotional regulation than Sandoval. Like he loses his mind whenever anyone challenges him, gets so incredibly defensive instead of just looking at it being like, you're right. I'm sorry that I ever made you feel that way. Like he doesn't have humility and I hope he learns it. I'm praying for him.
I would like to see him learn it too, because even though we don't have any connection at all anymore, I don't wish him ill. And it's depressing, frankly, to see not just this behavior, but to see someone in their 40s like seemingly get worse. Do you know? Because you go, well, wait a sec. This is the time where you're supposed to be like, oh, I used to do this. This is the negative habits or whatever. Especially when you have depression or you can see these things now. So to not be reflective
Yeah.
in that way, yeah. And like, even if he wasn't surrounded by paid friends, and I got to mention again, Jason. I mean, look, good for him. He's got a good gig,
Who's
but like,
Jason?
see,
Jax?
no, 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 no. I mean, Jax is Jason, yes. But that just made me. I thought of a promo like Jax is Jason, but the guy who's his band manager and I think the producer of his podcast, going like,
Mm,
yeah, man, you're right.
okay.
Like, if you find yourself in a room where everyone's agreeing with you, just like try to make a note to yourself or just try to realize that people, like James said in the after show, I think in LA, there's always some house where there's a pool and like there's drinks and you can go, but they're going to, if those people are coming to your house, they're blowing smoke up your ass. And I mean, I've certainly seen it all around in LA. It's in other places too with different industries, but it's certainly here,
Hmm.
you know.
Speaking of that Jason guy, I thought it was really funny because when he was talking to him, I wrote it down in the quote. He said, I don't know who James thinks he is. He can come in here and act so fucking like that.
Oh my
Like, so fucking
God.
like what?
Like, I don't know who he think, like, that is so weird. I'm stunned by that. I don't, it must have just hit me too hard when the show was on, or I was just looking at the milieu. And I'd like to say that the Howland sisters are exempt from all the nasty things that people are saying. They're lovely ladies, and they have been friends with Tom since St. Louis days. So I don't think that they're as culpable as other
Who?
folks. The
I don't
Mindy
know who that
and
is
her
either.
sister. Well, they're in. I just want to, because they're there at the party.
Oh,
They're
okay.
just
Oh,
they've
okay.
been
Okay.
they
Just
you've
people at
seen.
the party. Okay.
Yeah, they're just people at the party. But like you said about Kyle
Oh,
Chan, exempt from or what have you, or they say about
yeah.
Kyle on the show, the Howland sisters
100%
would not
Kyle
fall into that.
exempt.
Yeah, but
I would
there's
say
other.
Brett Ken is also a sweetie.
He's a lovely guy. But
Oh,
what was that thing with the Katie TikTok that he made? Did you remember what I'm talking about?
I liked that. I thought that was funny. Katie
don't
rage
remember the
texted
content.
him, and then I think Katie like sent him a rage text, and it was because of the finale of last season, and I think there was something where like Raquel and like Terry, like Katie's mom, were getting into it, and there was like a clip of Brett going like this. And like Katie thought that it was like about her or something, so she sent him a rage text, and then he turned the rage text into a song. I thought it was funny.
See.
He was
Okay.
lovely when I met him in person. He read my birth chart, and I really like vibed with him. I thought he seemed very sweet, and I feel like I'm a good like reader of people's character. So
I always like Brett as well. I have never had a problem with them either. But more who I'm thinking of are the people that look like they were from Central Casting. There was a place that they used to talk about they all worked for, like this model actor thing, and I wish I could remember it. Hopefully by next time, because that's where I thought I was like, oh, I went to a party in LA. A horrible person invited me. It was like one of those things where I might have been doing some work for them, something, one of those things. You're roped into something.
who was it? Name him.
Nah, it's not even worth breathing their name into the universe again.
Okay.
But and this is a while ago, but I remember getting this very weird party. It was like some billionaire's launch party for some vanity vodka or some liquor, and there was a strangeness about every person, all the women there. A lot of them had accents, and yet the host did not. You think, okay, maybe they're all from the same place, whatever. Found out later, there's this whole gang of women that you can hire, or there's various agencies rather, where you can say, I want a bunch of, and you've heard about this, but actually being around it is one of the weirdest things I've ever experienced.
Uncanny Valley, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Warmth flooding the room. Warmth has flooded this room, though, and I want to thank you for being part of it. I want to ask, though, before we close out, Lauren, if there's any thoughts, feelings, or wishes that you have.
I just want to leave an open invitation to Tom Schwartz. If you want to move to Chicago, we have a spare bedroom. No, I'm sorry. He's going to block me. No, actually, just thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I appreciate you having me and being my therapist and helping me get over my anxiety of speaking publicly.
That's lovely. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for being on. I love your work. Please continue. And thank you so much for joining. And hopefully you'll join again sometime.
Find us on Instagram and Twitter at PumpRulesPod, or go to PumpRulesPodcast.com for more information. Email PumpRulesPodcast@gmail.com and follow on Facebook at Facebook.com/PumpRulesPodcast. Thanks for listening and see you next time.